Take this job and shove it.
This is Jobcast Radio, and I am Mike Baumgartner, your Work-Life Survival Sage, Chief Executive Officer of the Work-Life Survival Center, and we are talking here on this first show of 2011 about resumes and all the things that you need to know to be ready for 2011, because I think there's going to be some hiring going on. We just finished talking a lot about resumes. We talked earlier about networking. And now we're going to talk about, well, one thing I wanted to make sure, and before the break I couldn't finish the thought point, your email address. And I've said this on past shows, and for those of you who've been loyal listeners to the show, I know I'm repeating myself on a lot of it, but it's a good refresher. If your email address is sexylady2017, you're probably not going to get the job, okay? Professional email address. There are lots of email providers out there. Get an email address that sounds like your name, but do not go get all cutesy. Okay, puppy dog eyes 23. No, don't do it. You're just begging for trouble. Actually, you're begging not to get a job, which if that's what you want to do, if you just want to keep sucking up on unemployment, and there are a lot of you out there, knock yourself out. You have a crappy email address. It's going to say a lot about who you are. Resume has to be perfect. What are you going to do with that resume? You're going to go out and you're going to start finding a job. So let's talk a little bit about what is the next step. You've got your resume. You've got your network humming along at least a little bit. You're starting to make some phone calls out there. You have to get ready for, remember the single most important thing that you need to be doing is getting an interview. That is what your resume is for. Your resume is a commercial piece to getting you an interview. Why? Because you want to get a job. The interview, I could do 100 shows on getting an interview. I will probably have out a CD that you can get that will be nothing about interviewing strategies. But I can sum it up really easy in this segment as far as the best thing that you can do to prepare for an interview. Number one is, to sum it up, don't blow it. And how do you blow it? Think of this as a first date, okay? Think of this as a first date where at the end of the first date, you're getting married. That is your interview strategy. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to show up in a prom dress or in a tuxedo. Do you do that on a first date? No, you don't. Some first dates require that. Some first dates have already had a phone conversation or two. Let's hope it's not a blind date, although, that may happen. But that interview is essentially a first date. You need to look your best. You need to act your best. But also, as anyone will tell you on a first date, I really would prefer that you act like who you are. Because I want to determine whether or not I like you. Because if what you turn out to be a week, a month, a year, 3 years down the road is nothing like you interviewed, you're going to end up on the reduction in force list, the RIF list. You're going to get fired. You're going to get managed out. And I'm going to hate you for making me spend all the money that I did discovering that you were nothing close to what you represented yourself as, which is why I always talk about being yourself in an interview. Now, again, there's 1,000 different strategies talking about things like eye contact, body positioning, how you show up, what you say, the questions that you ask, the questions they're going to ask. How do you prepare for these interviews? Practice, practice, practice. Should you do it in front of there's 1,000 different things that I can give you advice on. The most important is to remember it's a first date. You're going to get married at the end of it or not. And you need to be yourself. Because odds are all I really want to know, because I've already determined that you can do the job. The question is, do I want you to do the job? Do I like you? Can I put up with you every day? That's what your manager is going to be wondering. Also, what do you bring to the company? Why are you special? And it's determined by the personality of the people who you are talking to. And as you interview with more and more people, and more companies will have you interview with 6, 7, 10 people, odds are some of them aren't going to like you. Good. That means you're human. Because honestly, if you interview with 10 people and they all love you, there's something really, really wrong with you. Or you're hiding something really, really scary. You know what it is. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Interviewing is about showing up early. It is about being professional. It is making sure that you are polite. It is about knowing that you are going to, like a first date, meet the entire family, because this is one of those first dates where at the end of the date, you get to go meet mom, dad, the kids, the grandparents, the uncles, and the sisters. That's what all the other people who are interviewing you. And you have to get them to like you. Now, if Uncle Bob doesn't like you because he thinks you're a jerk or you threaten him, it may not be a bad thing, because maybe nobody likes Uncle Bob either. Think about that. Dressing, your hair, your style of clothing. Are you up to date? Are you modern? If you are interviewing for a senior finance job at a high-tech company and you don't have a cell phone, you pull out a slide rule, you don't know how to operate a calculator, you're a little behind the times, it may be a problem. So make sure that you are matching with the organization. Now, for the rest of this segment, what I also want to talk about is when look, I know a lot of you out there will take any job offered. I know you're sending out 1,000 resumes a day to any job posting that is out there. I would tell you that is an incredible waste of time, effort, and energy. Different show, but you should be focusing on those top 5, 6 jobs every day that look like they're a great match for you. But in as much as that interview is your date and wedding day, you need to make really sure that the job you're taking, you're going to like. Because now, as the economy begins to turn around, as people who hate their jobs start looking for work, and they are, as the job pool of candidates interested in getting a job increases, they get the pick of the litter. You need to make sure that they are a company that you want to work for, because companies are going to start looking at resumes. Now, they'll forgive for some brilliant people the fact you've been out of work for 6, 8 months or a year. They will do that. They'll understand that. But if you've been in 9 jobs in the last 6 years because each job stunk and you didn't do your research and you found out that those companies were not the kind of company you wanted to work for, you're not going to get hired, because there are people out there who stick with it, because job hoppers don't get work. Not anymore. It used to be, and it is 5, 6, 7 years ago. If you had 5 jobs in 10 years, I was fine with that, because it showed me that you were aggressive and you were jumping from company to company and you were getting a title each time and a raise each time. Now I know that is not true. Companies are tossing you out. Now, I can't find out if you were laid off or if you quit. And whatever you tell me in an interview, I'm going to have to believe you unless I know somebody in the company. And believe me, I will be checking you out. I'm gonna hesitate to somebody who's had a lot of jobs, even though the economy has been so rotten. So again, how that is reflected on your resume is important. There are strategies to it. If you need specific help, give me a call, 304-867-4142 or mike@jobcastradio.com. But you need to make sure that this company, because there are companies out there who have a reputation of what we call burn and turn. You're going to come in, we're going to work you 70 hours a week. We're going to wait till you can't take it anymore, you start to fail, and we'll just let you quit because you can't handle the workload. That's fine. We don't care. There's a lot of companies like that. They'll bring you in, they'll burn you out, they'll throw you away. Commission sales jobs, automotive jobs, a lot of the service jobs, they're just like that. They'll work you like a horse, thinking you might stick because the economy is so bad. They'll abuse you. They'll treat you like garbage. You'll quit, and they won't care. If you like that kind of high-energy job, God bless you, jump in and do it. Does that company value your work and your life? Do you? And if you go to my blog, if you go to my website, jobcastradio.com, you will see my latest blog for 2011. What do you want written on your tombstone? Because now you need to think about it. If you were to write your tombstone, what are you going to say? Loving husband, dedicated wife, a great father. Is that what you want to be known for? Or do you want to be known as company man who made things happen, who drove the profit line? Would you be proud to have your company logo as the first thing you see at the top of your tombstone? If the answer is yes, that's fine. Find a company that will do that for you. Work-life balance, and I know we all talk about it, and in this economy we don't. You need to write your tombstone. And how that tombstone is written may determine what companies you're applying for. If you are not researching the companies before you send the resume, you're going on a blind date. And you know, for any of you who've been on a blind date, there's some real scary psychos out there, real scary psychos that you could end up dating and married to. So think that through. What do you want, if you die, to be remembered as? A great company guy or as a great dad? And how does that fit? Who do you want to marry in your job? That's what you got to think about. That concludes this episode. 2011 just starting. Lots more coming up. Jobcastradio.com, worklifesurvival.com. I am Mike Baumgartner, your Work-Life Survival Sage, Chief Executive Officer of the Work-Life Survival Center, your host. Feel free to give me a call if you need help on anything. 304-867-4142. It is a free call. Check out my site. Check out my webpage. We're on Facebook. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take this job and shove it.